All right, it's a good day. It's a good thing. How is everyone doing? Good evening. This is Welcome to Etsy Shenanigans, episode 42, Top Searches in 2024 with Popular Keywords, Day 3. Interesting things that we actually learned about today. Took the entire blog over to Gemini, which I think you had heard about. Let me make sure that we are. Let's make sure we're going to be live. I think it'll click in just a moment. And I basically started off with running through the request, the prompt, with this goal in mind. I want to have a little bit more control over the long tail keyword, you know, uh, super, how would you say it? Like, super voltage. And truly understand the seed keywords and the what are called onwards and your stackables, and there's all sorts of different ways, I guess, that AI even understands keywords. So it can get a little what I'm calling simple complex, because this would all be very simple for someone that has understood keyword combinations and long tail keywords for the entire time that they've been on social. This is not something that I know a lot about. When you're reading it, it of course makes sense. What doesn't make sense is that when you are looking at perhaps having 100 items on Etsy, it is a good idea for at least for you to be doing your own A/B testing. And so your listings and your keywords and all the things that affect and build up your listing, that's your descriptions too, uh, provide a more compelling arrangement of things for the algorithm to pick up and then deliver to people that are searching. Now, that's one part of it. The other part of this is natural language learning. How are people really searching for things? What's curious is that so far there's really nothing on YouTube that just has even if it was what's it called when you get like a circle of people together and they're just doing things just completely naturally, kind of like how everyone makes ice cubes differently in a way, but at least oh, okay, 8 people make ice cubes 8 different ways, and these are the 8 different ways. Well, it's the same way with searching for things, because it can have something to do, it could have come from a conversation, a magazine article, um, something that a challenge that you had at work, or even a new word that you used, or a new phrase that you used because an influencer maybe brought it to your attention. So when you're sitting just as a natural human searching on Etsy, that's the keywords that you need are those keywords that they're thinking about. Once they've distilled it, such as what is in this blog, once that has happened, that in itself it has its own influence, flow, or energy. And I don't know, I just got it in my head that I would much rather be the one that's building my long tail keyword using an Excel spreadsheet, just something really simple, where I fully understand the structure of seed keywords, the combinations, the options that are out there, especially when you begin to automate. And it just is interesting to me. So this is why we are on day 3, actually, of me discussing this. Not a big deal in the big scheme of things, but I think will be useful as the shop grows and prospers. So we want to make sure that we are good and live and you can hear me. Thank you very much for looking at the butterflies moment after moment. This is a MP4 file that I built over on Canva. It's entirely built on Canva. The photograph, of course, I took, but all the other elements that you see are on Canva. And I'm taking all of this, the the colors and all of that, and it's becoming part of the branding for this season of items. So I'm very happy with the way that it looks when you're over at Etsy. It's pretty a little bit, it's a lot of folly, of course, nothing too serious. So we will see how things go. I did change the description. I think I mentioned that yesterday. So in doing the keyword research, it just it seemed to me that I had best change the new description to wood ditty bag charm for back to school dorm tidying. So, with that in mind, let me kind of go through what Gemini, well, how I got the conversation started firstly, so that you can use your own AI tool of your choosing and do the same sort of thing. So, we want to get to the beginning of it. And of course, I can never get to the beginning of the beginning. Okay, so I fed it that blog and I said, this is a top Etsy search keywords list for many categories. And it says, this is a comprehensive list you've compiled. So I knew right away that I was going to have to compile something over at Excel. While I can't create long tail keywords for every single term, I can definitely help you get started on some key categories and provide some additional tips. Here are some things to keep in mind. Focus on your shop's niche. Since you have a variety of products across different categories, it might be helpful to brainstorm long tail keywords that are most relevant to the types of products you actually sell. Prioritize high converting categories. Some categories on Etsy are naturally more competitive than others. Consider focusing on categories where you have a better chance of ranking for relevant keywords, such as handmade furniture versus phone cases. Use free keyword research tools like Google Keyword Planner or Ahrefs can help you search volume for different keywords and identify long tail options with lower competition. Here are some examples of long tail keywords. So I wanted to make sure that I knew in a bigger scale, not just honed in on the charms, but ultimately, what do you really need to know? How wide is the learning curve here? So, for example, in home decor, reminding us that this is a large category, we would start off with that your product is a handmade throw pillow. Okay, so let's say you just put it on, you make handmade throw pillows, and that's as far as you go, but it's not enough. You have to then bring it down further. Boho throw pillows with macrame fringe, for example, or linen throw pillow with geometric pattern. So here we have rustic wall decor. So your item could just say rustic wall decor, but would it be reclaimed wood wall sign? Would it be a metal farmhouse wall art? So all of these elements either become your materials, your theme, your location, and then there are optional columns that you can put together when you are starting the seed list. So let me go down a little bit further where the work that we did today, which were giving up the formulas. I did want to, and the question was, using Google Sheets, how would I randomize to create long tail keywords? And Gemini said, while Google Sheets doesn't have a built-in function specifically for generating long tail keywords, you can combine a few formulas to achieve a randomized list that can inspire some creative keyword ideas. Here's how you can do it. Prepare your seed list. That's basically where I am right now. Now I'm going to put the basics, because obviously we're going to try and do this all together while we're on going live every day. And so that's going to be too much. And this stops at column C. So let's get that one in the queue there. And then that is column C. So that's where we're at right now. I am building up my seed word list in Excel, just like Gemini is telling me to. So in a new column, this is where we can randomize, or we can VLOOKUP for random selection. And Gemini wants me to, in a new column, do this. Go ahead and put it in the stream. And then the VLOOKUP. This might be too long. So we'll see how this looks here once we put it over here. Is that going to fit all in? Yeah. And then copy the formula in column F down to the desired number of rows for your long tail keywords. Okay, so we have quite a bit of Excel work to do, but it is possible, and with the help of AI, of course. I have this goal. I think you heard the goal was that I want to be able to create my own long tail keywords. I want to really know how I'm fashioning everything that I do on Etsy. All of the visuals, any word that I have in, exactly how I'm doing my descriptions, my about section, and all of that, so that it's very cohesive, and there's not one of it that I do really well and then I suck at the other parts. So I want to make sure that I'm coming to it from that where the photography isn't greater than the description, and the description isn't greater than my keywords, and that sort of thing. So the best way that I can do that is to make sure that I isolate and use any kind of automation tools on my own before investing in these other third-party software that might not yet know as much as I do about the quality of the product, really ultimately who my customer is, and how I can improve search relevancy with everything that I do. That's the whole concept. So we will go ahead and wrap up tonight and get back to work and check back with you, of course, tomorrow, and let you know how these formulas have worked. And like I said, I'm doing it exactly the way that Gemini is suggesting to do, without any frustration there. So yeah, it should be exciting to see if and I'm not too sure that it's really an if so much. It's basically, I think on Etsy, it's a when. When do you have the right number of listings with the right, where you're accepting enough responsibility to really push out the thing that will engage on their end. How is that really going to happen? When does that happen? So thank you so much for stopping by. This has been your host, Beauty Bubble for Etsy Shenanigans, episode 42, all about searches and the quest for the most perfectly framed listing ever, and focusing on long tail keywords. So we will check back with you tomorrow, and well, that's it for us. Bye-bye now.